Hey Sharks fans, thanks for checking out another cast from TealTownUSA.com. In this episode, we sit down with Heather Hooper from the Sharks Foundation and discuss the beginnings of the foundation and their focus on giving back since its inception. We also discuss mystery pucks, the Tank Tailgate, sampling with the Sharks, and more. So we're with Heather Hooper from the Sharks Foundation, and a lot of people don't know, but when did the Sharks Foundation begin? Who was behind it? Who are the beneficiaries?
Yeah, great question. So the Sharks Foundation began in 1994. So it was just a year after the Sharks started playing in San Jose specifically. And we wanted to have a way to be able to give back to the community that has so strongly supported us since even before we started playing here. This is a way that our players, our executives, our employees can get involved in the community and give back, here locally.
How much have you raised since the inception?
So since inception, we have donated over $14 million back to the Bay Area specifically, with the majority of that being in San Jose. And we work with a lot of different types of nonprofits. Our mission is pretty diverse. And what's great about that is we are able to help lots of different types of individuals that are in need. So our mission is to enhance the lives of youth and families in the community in the areas of education, health and safety, and character development. So we help everybody from at-risk youth to supporting basic human services, to families that are facing health crises, to military members and their families, and those battling cancer, and really everything in between. And it's one of the best parts about my job is that we are able to say yes a lot more than we have to say no. So that's definitely a benefit for us.
Oh. And how does the Sharks Foundation differentiate from the new Sharks Alumni Foundation?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, the Sharks Foundation has been the official nonprofit of the team since 1994. And throughout that time, the Sharks alumni have been very involved in all of our fundraising events and giving back to the community. And seeing that there was a need specifically to really support youth that don't have access to playing hockey and sports, the Sharks Alumni Foundation created a more organized way to be able to give back, and they're doing wonderful work in the community. I'm excited to see where they go. They just began last year, but we are working in partnership together to make sure that we are addressing the needs of the community collaboratively. And I'm like I said, I'm excited to see where they go and what they're able to accomplish.
What can fans look forward to from the Sharks Foundation for this upcoming season? Anything new? Any changes? Anything like that?
Yeah, so during the game on the 22nd, we are going to be hosting a financial collection drive to support the California Fire Foundation. Obviously, with the recent fires that have been happening in California, this is something that touches a lot of different people here locally. And so we will have uniformed firefighters at our doors, both the south and north entrances, to collect checks and cash. And those funds will go directly to supporting the families of fallen firefighters and disaster relief in the wake of wildfires, much like we've seen recently. So that's definitely a way that fans can get involved. On the 23rd, we have our Tank Tailgate at FanFest, presented by Bay Area BMW Centers, which has been a fan favorite the past few years. It is an opportunity for fans to come out and participate on Autumn Street. There are beer samples that come with your admission, which, need I say more? Most of the time that's what gets people there. But we have Sharks players that rotate through as celebrity bartenders. We also have live music and raffle, and we'll have lawn games out there, food trucks. So for $65, you get all of that, and you get to support the foundation in the process, which is amazing. So we'll have that on the 23rd. Tickets are still available, so fans can go to sharksfoundation.org to purchase those. And then we will continue on this year with Sampling with the Sharks, which is our signature fundraiser for the course of the year. We don't have that date solidified quite yet, but I would look out for information on our website or our social channels come about October or November. Generally, that event is held between February and March, so people can keep their dates open. But that's an opportunity for our fans to really mix and mingle with Sharks players and broadcasters and alumni and coaches, sample some of the finest wines from throughout Northern Northern California, bid on auction packages. That's something that we have done the past few years. Really focused on creating unique auction packages that people couldn't find anywhere else. So for instance, this past year, we had the opportunity to go to Texas to stay at the Burns Ranch with the Burns for a weekend. And that was an incredibly popular package. 2 years ago, we had an opportunity to go to the zoo with Brent Burns. We also have had packages such as going to Pixar with Tomas Hurdle and bowling with Martin Jones. So these are all opportunities that fans wouldn't get the chance to have access to otherwise. So we put them in our live auction, and we're able to raise money and important, crucial funds for the community in the process. In addition to those fundraising events, we also have various opportunities in-game to participate. We have the in-game auction, which is something that happens every home game. Fans can text Sharks to 52182 to be involved in that. We also have a very exciting project coming up this year in partnership with the NHL for the All-Star Game. We haven't exactly released all the information on that, so I'm just going to have to give a little teaser. But
hey, always appreciate a teaser.
Exactly. So we encourage fans to just, again, keep up to date with our social media channels and our website to see details on potentially how they can support that or get involved once we have a ribbon cutting for that event. So those are my hints on what's happening.
Oh, okay. You touched on a lot of things,
yes.
So I'll try to break them down one by one. Mm-hmm. First, the soonest one being FanFest. Mm-hmm. Now, this is the third one,
yep.
The Tank Tailgate.
Yes.
Little different from FanFest.
Yeah.
But the third Tank Tailgate, now, I attended both the first two and noticed some subtle differences between the two, in that the first one, there weren't as many players involved with the beer dispensing and everything like that. But the players that did or that were included kind of spent a little bit of time at the beer tents, but then kind of meandered and mingled and talked to fans, took photos, signed stuff. And then the last Tank Tailgate, it seemed like almost every player was involved. Plus, there were photo booths with players rotating, yes. Whether it was Dylan or DeMello or Dell. Is it going to be more like last Tank Tailgate or the previous one in that regard?
Great question. So it'll be a lot more like last year. So we'll have each of the players that are participating in the Fan Fest participate in Tank Tailgate. So they will be back behind the beer tables, actually helping serve the beverages, but then we'll also have a photo booth as well. So it'll really depend on kind of the timing of when guests and fans do come into Tank Tailgate, depending on what they see. But we will have all the players rotate through there at some point. And who knows, now that we're adding the lawn games, so we'll have some cornhole or bags, depending on where you are and what you call it. But we'll have bags out there, so players may get involved in that. We'll have life-size Jenga out there. So I anticipate some players being drawn to those games as well. So, but they'll all be out there.
That sounds awesome, because I remember coming to a Fan Fest, I believe, around 2000, somewhere in that neck of the woods. And then it was done quite differently, where there were events on the floor, essentially over the ice, where you could stand in line, and besides the idea of taking a photo or getting an autograph with a player, you could play bubble hockey with Owen Nolan and Brian Marchment for 2 goals or something like that. So I think it'd be really funny to see a player out there, cornholing it all over the place.
Absolutely, I know, right?
Then you also mentioned that you guys have auctions every game, that you don't have to be here to actually auction. You can text to the number. Now, things that you guys have done in the past have been in conjunction with the San Francisco Giants, the Oakland Athletics. We haven't seen an announcement for that. Can we expect some more Bay Area Unite promotions this season? We
have some of those plans in the works. Again, I think every year we're trying to differentiate what we've done in the past to really keep it fresh, but we are planning on definitely partnerships with the Bay Area teams, and the Bay Area Night continues. But I can't specifically say what we're doing this year. But yes, fans can look out for that this season.
Awesome.
Yes.
And then finally, you were talking about the Sampling with the Sharks event. And unfortunately, recently, over the last year or so, we've seen the elimination of some fan favorite events like Bowling with the Sharks or Fan Fitness. And we've gotten certain feedback on our channels
Yep.
saying that, these events have been eliminated while the sampling with the Sharks events, ticket prices have actually gone up. So were the previous events just not drawing as expected, or is this the case of the foundation maybe focusing your efforts on a singular event?
Yeah, great question. So it's a little bit of all of those things. We rely so heavily on fan support to be able to raise the crucial funds that we're putting back out into the community. And we have a responsibility to run our events in a way that we're not spending more than we're bringing in. And anybody that has ever planned a race or a run knows that they're incredibly expensive to put on. And we were finding that with the 6 months of planning and all the costs that are associated with putting on a run like that, we just weren't bringing in the net funds that we needed to really responsibly keep running that event. We also have hit kind of max capacities and fundraising opportunities with other events. And so for us, we want to keep fans engaged. We don't want anybody to have a negative experience at our events. And so we do look to change things up every once in a while. We do always have it at top of mind that some fans are going to be excited that we're trying new events and other fans may really miss those old classics. And so what we do listen to fan feedback. We do oftentimes have surveys after our events and ask what our fans want to see. Some of it is resource based and what we're able to do and respecting, the resources that we have at our disposal and our fingertips to continue to plan these events. But we always try to have ways that fans can participate and support the foundation. So for instance, mystery pucks and opportunities like the collection drives where, again, if a fan is able to give $20, that's huge. And so we do always want to have opportunities for our fans to support the community and be a part of what the Sharks Foundation is doing. And so, again, we don't get rid of events that have been successful for us. And so what we've seen is just, again, trying to keep things fresh, trying to make sure that our fans are engaged, make sure that our players are engaged as well, and try new things. So that's kind of some of the background on, specifically bowling and golf and fitness face-off. But we have heard the fans' feedback, and we are going to lower the general admission price for sampling with the Sharks this year. Last year, we got feedback that it was a little bit too high. And so we are taking that into consideration. We'll lower the price. And one thing, that we're always keeping in mind and what we ask fans to as well is that we are trying to raise as much money as possible to put it back out into the community to give it to local nonprofits. And so when we're raising the price, it's not because we want to gouge anybody, I promise. It's because we really are trying to maximize our impact in the community and give to those nonprofits that can use those funds and that are going to go to those in need. And that's a huge priority of ours. And so we do ask that fans keep that in mind too, because we keep our operating costs as low as possible so that we can, again, put as much back out to those in need as we can.
I'm assuming, now I've never been to a sampling with the Sharks event. I've been to a couple of the bowling events.
Oh, you got to come.
I know, I want to. It always seems to be on like a night that I got something going on. But the sampling with the Sharks event, I'm assuming, because you're talking about all the fantastic wines involved, I'm assuming that one is a 21 and over event.
It is, yes.
And where when I was at the bowling events, obviously kids were welcome to those. Is there a kid or more, I should say, family-friendly event that you might have planned?
Yeah, so that's with FanFest. We do encourage fans that want to bring their families out and have it be a day out. FanFest definitely targets that, not necessarily Tank Tailgate specifically, but FanFest overall. And again, we do have volunteer opportunities throughout the course of the year, or we have, the collection drives and things of that nature in-game where it is family-friendly. And so again, we're always, looking for opportunities to get fans involved and make sure that everybody in the family is able to give back. So we encourage everybody, again, to keep up to date. We have a newsletter in which we send out, try to on a monthly basis, to talk about volunteer opportunities and how fans can get involved. And throughout the year, that absolutely includes opportunities for engagement with kiddos. So definitely have people sign up for that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you mentioned earlier about mystery pucks. You guys have, I know a couple times you've done mystery hats. What pucks can we look forward to this season? Because obviously you change things around.
Absolutely.
I remember last season we had the President's Day mystery pucks that were kind of announced a little later into the season. You had the Mount Rushmore. You had the Jones on the Penny one.
That was my favorite one I think we've done so far. I really liked that one.
And I've already seen the announcement on the site that there'll be pucks this season for opening night that kind of tie into the towels from the Anaheim series last season.
Yes, Duck Hunt mystery pucks on opening night. So those, we really like that design as well. Other ones, I don't know if this is public yet, but I'm happy to share it here. We are doing superhero mystery pucks in January when we're focusing on Heroes Appreciation.
Okay, but which universe?
Well, they're unique to the Sharks. We're not replicating any designs. We are creatively coming up with our own. So
you're not putting like Pavelski's face on a Superman body
No, absolutely. They're creative designs. We'll also do Hockey Fights Cancer mystery pucks again this year in November. Our big Hockey Fights Cancer game is on November 17th. We're going to do the mystery ornaments again this year that are all creatively designed, and Valentine's Day mystery pucks this year. So yeah, we're trying to mix it up every year. We're trying to find new ideas and creative opportunities to do mystery pucks. So if fans have a creative idea they want to shoot our way, please feel free, because we're always trying to incorporate what fans would like to see. Come on, AJ, you got to come up with something. Something. No pressure.
Put me on the spot like this. Are you planning on doing perhaps mystery hats again, or is that something you tried and you're like,
Actually, mystery hats. I'm glad you brought that up. So mystery hats is actually a ticket sales initiative, and so it's slightly different than what the foundation is hosting. But they are planning on doing them this year, so you will see different mystery hats this season.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And we noticed that mystery pucks this year going for $30 instead of $20.
Yes.
Is that just due to the demand being so overwhelming? Because I know that I've come in to games maybe a little later than I wanted to through the door, and there's like 3 left on the table, it's I don't know, 7:15. It's still 15 minutes away from puck drop.
Yes, absolutely. So we are increasing the price this year. They've been $20 for as long as I've ever seen in the foundation record. So it is time to increase them, simply because the hard costs for us increase year after year. So we are trying to keep up with, again, kind of going back to the point of trying to raise as much money for the community and nonprofits as possible. So they will be $30 this year. I believe that they will go as quickly as they have in years past, because the designs are really, really unique. So we do encourage fans to get there early on the nights we are selling the mystery pucks. But we are doing more sets this year, but fewer quantities. So you'll see on the Duck Hunt pucks, we're only doing 1,000 each, and on Valentine's Day we're only doing 1,000 each, but we're doing multiple days of mystery pucks. So again, it's going to be harder actually to get those, because there only will be 1,000 available versus 2,000 as we've done in years past.
I was wondering,
get
what
there
the usual
early,
run
folks.
was.
Yes, exactly.
And how do you choose what nights that you guys do these, and who determines these designs? Because some of them have just been like really creative.
Yeah, our graphic design team is incredible. We have an in-house team of individuals that are far more creative than I will ever be, but they work. We kind of give them concepts, and they'll come up with the designs. And as you've seen with last year with the President's Day mystery pucks, or the ones over the years, they truly are able to come up with different designs based on some feedback we give them. But yeah, it's all due to them. And specifically how we find out the nights. So because our mission is very broad as a foundation, it's education, health and safety, and character development. A few years ago, we were realizing it was kind of hard to tell our story and really share with fans what our mission is and what we do, because one day we'd give to a nonprofit that was for at-risk youth, and then the next day it would be a cancer-related nonprofit, the next day it would be basic human services, and so on and so forth. So it was really hard to kind of navigate what it is we do as a foundation and have an identity. So what we decided to do 3 seasons ago was create a giving campaign. So for every month of the shark season, regular season, I might add, we have a particular area of focus that aligns within the foundation's pillars of giving. And so September and October, it's healthy living. November is Hockey Fights Cancer. December is basic human services. January is Heroes Appreciation. February is character development, education is for March, and then April is environmental awareness. And essentially what we do is, with all of our giving, we're focusing that giving within that theme for that month. It helps us, again, really narrow down our focus, and for those months really channel in and be able to work with specific nonprofits. Helps our fans understand what we're doing a little bit more. It helps our partners understand. It just, again, helps us to, with such a diverse and broad mission, really channel our focuses. And so specifically for Superhero Pucks in January, we're hosting that during our Heroes Appreciation Month. So a lot of it is dependent on kind of what we're doing as a foundation within our season of giving, is how we decide what themes we're going to do for pucks, and also when we're selling them.
Finally,
Yes.
can we look forward to something All-Star Game related mystery puck, or perhaps Owen Nolan calling his shot mystery puck related?
I will say not in the mystery puck segment, but I think on the marketing side there will be some activations around some of the things you mentioned. Is that vague enough? Is that
Absolutely.
Everyone's more confused than before you even asked the question.
Yes. Just look forward.
Look
January
forward
5th.
to January, yes.
January 5th, Owen Nolan bobblehead calling his shot. There you go. Look forward to that one. Anything else is icing on the cake.
Exactly.
So the foundation can be found on Twitter at Sharks Care.
Yes, Sharks Care. Yes.
And your website?
sharksfoundation.org. And then on Facebook and Instagram, we are under Sharks Foundation.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for taking the time.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning in to another cast from Teal Town, USA. Remember to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Teal Town, USA. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and find us on the web at tealtownusa.com.